Ayo, back at it again with another video. Thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. So, I've started writing different articles and publishing them on Substack, and this one is the first one that I want to talk about that I wrote. It is called Brics and the Unraveling of American Hegemony, the return of the bipolar world order. So, I'll go through it real quickly. Yeah, so if you want to follow me on Substack, it is at Matthew Vargo. If that's something you're interested in, cool. If not, no worries. All right, so I'll get into it. I actually really think this is a cool topic. So our title, Brics, Unraveling of American Hegemony. I wrote this a couple of days ago. December 8th is when I wrote it. I published it on the 8th, and date of recording right now is December 12th, 2023. So, defining some terms first and foremost, hegemony means leadership or dominance over something. BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So they just added 6 more members: Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Ethiopia, the UAE, and Argentina. So now we have the original 5 members of Brazil, Russia, China, India, South Africa, plus 6 more, bringing them up to 11, with many more countries wanting to join. Ever since the collapse of the Soviet Union, 1991, the US has been the sole and dominant superpower. During the Cold War, we lived in a bipolar world, a world with 2 dominant spheres: a US led sphere of influence, or collectively known as quote unquote the West, and then the Soviet led sphere of influence, mainly consisting of the Warsaw Pact and China, plus some others here and there. Since the collapse of the Soviet system in the late 80s and early 90s, there has been American dominance over a lot of things. For example, on the economic front, the G7, consisting of North America, Europe, plus Japan, led the global financial order. On the military front, the US won decisively in the Gulf in 91, overthrew Saddam quickly in 2003. Since the end of the Cold War, we have lived in a unipolar world order, a world order led by the United States that did not have anyone with the power to question it. Enter China, and ultimately the BRICS alliance. The US led order is collapsing before our eyes. The US has given tens of billions of dollars to Ukraine to weaken Russia, and it has had mixed results. Ukraine has had some success on the battlefield, but not enough success for the Ukrainian military to sever the land bridge to Crimea. For decades, the US led world order propped up Israel, and on October 7th, Israel was defeated by Hamas. The US has given Israel hundreds of billions of dollars over the course of the past several decades, and they were beaten by rockets and paragliders. The Iron Dome was overwhelmed by cheap rockets that used up the very expensive interceptor missiles. So Hamas was shooting a barrage of rockets, very cheap, and the interceptor missiles for the Iron Dome were very expensive. Let's be clear, Ukraine cannot win a war of attrition. Mathematically, the numbers just don't favor Ukraine. So the Ukraine offensive, with all the Western tech and money, has effectively stalled. Israel, with their Western tech and money, got beat by rockets and paragliders, which only leaves Taiwan, more or less. Frankly, Taiwan is in a decent defensive position. However, China first has to cross 100 kilometers of roughly 100 kilometers of open ocean. Plus, the island of Taiwan, the main island of Taiwan, is heavily urban and mountainous. So on the left side of the island, if you look at it, very urban, very dense. On the right side of the island, on the east side of the island, very mountainous. Both urban and mountain warfare are hell. If you want to know how urban warfare turned out for the Germans at Stalingrad, not well. Mountain warfare in Afghanistan by the British, Soviets, and ultimately Americans didn't turn out well either. Taiwan is in a decent defensive position, but I just don't think it's enough. The numbers on China's side are just too great for Taiwan to overcome. They would immediately be swarmed by aircraft and missiles that would most likely overwhelm their defenses. If China were to invade, they would have a pretty decent chance of success. Again, anything is possible. Many analysts thought Ukraine would, capitulate and be defeated within the first couple weeks. It didn't happen. In war, anything is possible. If China were to successfully invade Taiwan, or there is success in a peaceful reunification with the mainland, that would be bad from the U.S. perspective. Because from an American perspective, on a map, Taiwan is a way to hem in China and to hem in expansion of China onto the first island chain. Losing that link in the chain would have ripple effects for the Americans. The U.S. is no longer the sole economic and military power anymore. China and Russia are military powers that are rivaling America and her allies, with North Korea and Iran as further military thorns in America's side. The U.S.-led G7 is not the only economic power anymore. The Chinese-led Brics alliance is here and is here to stay. The 11 countries that now make up Brics account for approximately 30% of global GDP and rising. Approximately 40% of global oil production is now within the Brics alliance. And only a little under, roughly, 50% of the global population, with the vast majority of it coming from India and China, both of whom have over 1.4 billion, I believe, if estimates are correct. So many more countries want to join this alliance. The U.S. has lost its global hegemony. It is no longer the single military power. It is no longer the single economic power. There are some new kids on the block. The bipolar world is returning. Grab your popcorn and your snacks. This is going to be interesting. Yeah, so this was my first article that I wrote. I wrote a couple others. I'll probably get into those. I'll start making some videos on them. I really like this concept of me writing out these articles. I think it's cool. I get to use my pen, per se. It's more of a keyboard and a mouse pad, but I get to use my pen as a way to put my thoughts into an article and be able to publish that. So again, if you want to subscribe or follow me on Substack, that is fine. If not, no worries whatsoever. I don't post on here because I want, attention or followers or subscribers. It's nice, but it's nice to get my thoughts out. But yeah, this is my first article that I wrote for Substack. I have many more. I'm trying to do a couple a week. We'll see how long that will last. But yeah, this is my first article, Brics, the Brics Alliance and the Unraveling of American Hegemony, the return of the bipolar world order. So that is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you find this topic interesting as much as I do, that's, there's a lot to learn on the subject. American, geopolitics is interesting, but so is global geopolitics as well. So make sure you follow along, and I'll be able to write some more articles and I'll make some more videos on it. So that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Deuces.